All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 242 of the Restoring Rapport podcast. We are super excited for the content we've got planned out for you guys today. As always, this is a podcast for young believers who are pursuing the goal of marriage and family, trying to get married young as soon as possible. My name is Seth Hensley. Normally, I'm joined by my co-host, Landon Mock. We come on twice a week, every week, to discuss not only the importance of getting married as a life choice, but we also try to equip and encourage you in your pursuit of that goal. But today, Landon is not able to be here, and so I am going to be recording another solo episode for you on, drum roll, the best summer date ideas that I am aware of, and also not only just the ones that I'm aware of, but all of the best summer date ideas that I've been able to find, period, online and through talking to people. And so I'm going to give you the creme de la creme of the crop when it comes to what you can do with your significant other this summer. By the time you hear this, it's probably going to be early to mid-May. And so this is being recorded on the 14th of April. But by the time you hear it, it's probably going to be early to mid-May because we schedule our episodes about a month in advance. So by the time you hear this, summer is going to be in full swing. People are going to be getting out of school. People are going to be having a lot of time. And so the weather is going to be a lot better than it is in early April. Especially with the weather the tri-state Southern Ohio area has been having recently with all the storms. So you're probably going to be looking to get outside with your significant other or somebody that you really care about. And so today I'm going to be going over some of the best summer date ideas that we can possibly, that I've been able to possibly find myself, and that I've been able to go on myself. And so I'm going to give you my favorites as well as the favorites of lots of other people on the internet. I kind of want to try again with this series to accumulate as many resources as I can for you guys into one place, and then give them to you in a digestible 30-minute podcast episode so you can get as much value from this as possible in planning your summer dates. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. I thought what I would do first is I would actually Google the best summer date ideas. And when I did that, Google did not disappoint, which normally they don't have exactly what I'm looking for as far as ideas. But this time they actually had some really, really good ideas that I actually didn't find in a lot of the articles that I was reading on the best summer date ideas. So I'm going to just go through these one at a time. And again, I'm not going to go super in depth into these because we've done other episodes on the best, let's, for example, we did the last episode was the best kayaking date, how to do the perfect kayaking date. And so if you want an in-depth overview of how to do a good kayaking date, you can go back and listen to that. This is going to be kind of an overview, just a idea generating episode for how to find date ideas. And so hopefully this will get your creative juices flowing and spark some creativity on your end just listening to these. I know a lot of times when I am trying to get in a creative mood, the best thing for me to do is go listen to somebody who has put in some work in that area, and that will cause me to start having ideas myself. And so if this episode does that for you, reach out and let me know how it did that for you through the link in the show notes. You can send me that personalized audio voice message, as well as let me know how any of these dates go. So if you go on any of the dates that you hear in this episode, or if you use any of the tricks that you hear in this episode, just reach out and let me know how the date went. I'd love to hear about it. But the first one they give you is hiking. Obviously, this is a really standard one. We actually did an entire episode on how to pull off the best hiking date. So if you are interested in doing a hiking date with your significant other this summer, go back and listen to episode 235. We give you so many awesome tips and trips for a hiking date. So I'm not going to spend that much time on that one, but that one is one of my favorite dates of all time, are hiking dates. They are really, really good for so many reasons. Just to list a few, they have a great view, they have a great environment, the scenery is beautiful, and there's nothing like enjoying a good scenery with somebody you love. You're working with your partner to reach an end goal, maybe an overlook or a scenic viewpoint. So you're working with somebody to get a reward that you can then enjoy with that person that you worked with to get there. A beautiful thing, beautiful analogy of marriage. Marriage really is like hiking, working with somebody that you love to get to different life goals, and to get to, and most notably of which I would say one of the best goals that you can get by working with somebody is a close relationship with that person. And so hiking is very analogous to marriage. Wonderful date idea all around. It's a great way to be active, exercise, talk. It's a conversation generating date. So just lots of good things about hiking. The second one they give is a baseball game. So lots of you'll be able to go to lots of sports games in the summer, especially if you're really connected to your local school or a Christian school or private school that you may be connected to. Great time to go and see a game with your significant other. These are great ways to support a family or friends who you may know, and kind of bring in the social circles that you may be a part of into your romantic life, and just have a community surround your dating relationship. This is a great way to do that. The zoo isn't the next one that they list, as you can see here on the screen. If you're subscribed to the show or watching on YouTube, the zoo is the next one that Google gives. I've actually, girls usually like animals, guys, and so the zoo can be a really good one, just because it's something often that she's interested in. So it's a great way to spend time with your partner in a way that she's relaxed and enjoying herself, which is always awesome. The more you can enjoy the date you're doing, the more at ease you're going to feel, and the more at ease you're going to feel, the more yourself and the more you're going to be, and the more conversation is going to happen. And so the zoo is a really great one. A road trip is the fourth one that they give. These can be really good. You can actually couple a pair of these, like especially if you live in a rural area and don't have a zoo near you, which I do. You can couple the zoo with a road trip, so you can make the road trip fun going down. I know something that my family always did growing up was we would stop at any UDF that we saw on the way to whatever zoo or aquarium or museum we were going to see out of town, and that was sort of our road trip tradition. And so you can make the actual trip to the zoo or wherever you're going a date with your significant other. You can actually make traditions around the actual commute to whatever place you're going. That's a really brilliant idea of how to do that. Just because lots of things that you're going to go do with your significant other are going to be out of your normal area of travel, and so just look for things to do on your way. It's a great way to make that more fun. Number 5 is a bike ride. Man, I'm partial to this one. This is another one of my absolute favorites. For those of you who maybe have not been following the show long, me and my wife, Lainey, actually got a tandem bike this past year, and my goodness, is that an awesome date. If you are interested at all in biking with your partner, I would highly recommend the tandem bike route. We actually got a tandem bike that collapses and folds up. I'll actually link it in the show notes. If I remember to do that for you guys, so you can purchase it yourself. The exact bike we got it on Amazon. It was here in like 2 days. I mean, it was Amazon Prime, I think, and basically the bike folds up and can fit in the back of a trunk. But when you unfold it, it's a tandem. It can seat 2 people, and you work together in order to move. It is really, really cool. We love it so much. Lainey could actually not. She had never ridden a bike before. At least she could not ride one by herself before, even in her adult life. So that was a really cool experience. That she was actually worried about being able to ride the bike, but it did not turn out to be that challenging at all. So definitely would recommend this for you guys if you're interested in biking with your partner. Summer is the perfect time to do this. It can be hot, so you have that wind. Yes, you can carry water with you on the on the bike route that you're going on. It's a great way, again, to work together with your partner on something. Those are always awesome dates. And bike riding is just so fun. I mean, you're going faster than you normally would unless you were driving. And it's also not extremely strenuous if you're on a flat place, which I would actually recommend. By the way, if you do the biking route, if you go on the biking date with your partner, try to find a flat area because that's going to make the date a lot more relaxing. Hills are not something you want to do, unless you're training for a biking competition, which, by the way, dating is not training for a biking competition. You're trying to get to know a woman and spend time with a woman you care about. And so you're going to want to make an environment and a terrain. You're going to want to go to a terrain that is conducive to that goal. So don't pick a hilly place. Pick something that doesn't require a lot of effort on either of your ends, so that you're not out of breath and you can still talk and look at things as you're driving by and enjoy the trip. That's the main thing. The next one they give is a luxury picnic, which I actually am going to extend here and read a little bit about because I'm not sure exactly what they mean by that. They say, luxury picnics have trended up over the past couple of years, and thankfully so. Picnic in a box date night. Summertime is the best time for a picnic. Switch up your typical lunch date by providing an outdoors picnic style. So they're basically, I think, a luxury picnic based on just those couple of articles there, those snippets from those couple of articles. It's basically just kind of a fancier, more upended way of having a meal outside. Not necessarily when it comes to the food, what you're eating, but in the way you're eating and how it's prepared, making sure it's luxury. You're not just having like, some paper plates and plastic forks and a blanket. You're actually going a little bit bigger as far as you probably have a basket. You might have some silverware. You probably have some prepared foods that you didn't just necessarily throw together like a sandwich. So actually putting in some time and effort and thought into preparation into this date could be really good. Again, I think the big weakness of this one is going to be the weather. You're susceptible to getting rained out in the middle of, your date, which is always a good way to ruin a really good date. But again, summertime really is the best time to do this date. If you're going to go for the picnic date, it is a great conversation generator. Lainey and I have done these and really, really love them. You kind of have to be spontaneous. If there's any way you can prepare picnics really, really fast on days where you do know you have good weather, 0% chance of rain all day, that's when I would recommend doing these dates because you're not going to get into trouble as far as the weather goes. So the quicker you can throw these together, and the quicker you train yourself to be able to do that, the more dates, I should say, the more luxury picnic dates you're going to be able to go on. So just get good at being spontaneous, get good at packing up things really quick and being ready for the good days that you have. Camping is much the same, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit later. Camping can be a great date, after you're married, especially if you have like friends to go with and stuff. So I'll talk about those in a little bit, but dine outdoors. This is a really good one. A lot of you will go out to eat just out of necessity, and often because you want to experience something new with your partner, which is an amazing thing to do. I would totally recommend it. But not a lot of people take advantage of the outdoor dining option that a lot of restaurants do offer. And so in the summer, you have this awesome weather. Why not enjoy it and go outside and just, people watch, look at the city around you, look at the scenery, talk about what you see with your partner, enjoy the moment together, talk about other things while you're sitting in a great, beautiful environment. Dining outdoors, highly recommend this one, especially because you're probably going to be going out to eat with her anyway, either in the process of doing another date or sandwiching another date with an out to eat experience or something like that. Or maybe you're just out together and you don't have food and it's just out of necessity you have to stop and eat. So why not eat outside? That's a great way to make it special. Berry picking. This is really cool. This reminds me of, a very not archaic, but old fashioned romantic date, berry picking together. Really cool. Again, you're going to want to pick an area. I would say as far as berry picking goes, I'm not an expert on this by any means, but I do know that my wife would not like a muddy area. And so just make sure the area is as friendly as possible to a woman and make sure she can be comfortable in every way. Universally across the board, guys, something that I'm noticing in doing these how to go on these specific date episodes is that one of the best things you can do on these dates is make it as comfortable as possible for your partner. And so, because if she's not comfortable, she can't really have a good time. And that's what going on these dates is all about. It's about strengthening your connection through a shared experience and having a wonderful time together, getting to know each other better and build your relationship. And it's harder to do that if she's not comfortable. So all of these dates, being able to make her comfortable is going to be a super important part of all of these dates. And so make sure you have that down. The next one they give is just a regular picnic. I'm going to kind of skip over that one because I think it's kind of the same as the luxury picnic, just maybe a little bit of a lower scale. Beach day, this one's going to be kind of dependent upon the geographical area in which you live. You maybe not live close to a beach, and so driving 13 hours might not be feasible for you, unless it's a vacation, of course. But if you do live near a beach, hey man, congratulations, take advantage of that because not a lot of people do. So just go for a walk on the beach, man. It's gorgeous. You can kick your shoes off and walk, on the sand barefoot with your partner. It's an awesome, memorable experience. I still remember the walks that Lainey and I took on the beach last year with my family. And so they're definitely something memorable that you can do with your partner. Lots of good conversation opportunities here. Extremely romantic. Girls love the beach usually, and so this is just a great thing that you can do with your significant other if you have the opportunity again and live close enough to one to make it feasible. Cooking classes. This is a really good idea. I've never actually done this one. In fact, I think this is the first one so far, other than berry picking, that I actually have not done with my wife. So I can't speak to this one from personal experiences, but I can say that I would really like to do a cooking class, not necessarily because I like cooking. I actually hate cooking, but because I think it would be cool to do. It's a very refined and elegant date, kind of like a wine tasting, and it would just be a cool sort of high-end date. I think of this as a formal date, maybe. Maybe if you did a low-scale one, not so much, but maybe going to take a cooking class where they were teaching you cooking etiquette and things like this. That might be a really fun idea. Volunteer together. This is actually my least favorite of the ones we've seen so far, just because I think of volunteering as more service oriented, and usually when you're serving, the focus is not so much on building your connection with your partner and more on the people that you're serving. And while that's great and all, I do think that it should be kept separate from the dating aspect again, just because in a date, I think your goal is to again invest 100% of your energy, time, emotions, money into the person you're with, and be super engaged in that moment. And if you're serving, you're doing something else that could distract you from that original goal. And so I actually am not a fan of the volunteer together for that reason. But again, it's a great thing to do if you're not doing it as a date and you're just doing it together to maybe see each other see each other serving, find out how each other serves other people, find out how you work together. So if you want to do this as maybe an early first date, I think that would be a great idea, especially if you haven't gotten to know your partner well. This is a great way to see how they work, maybe under a little bit of pressure, not too much, but see how they work when they're serving, see what their work ethic is, what their attitude is towards helping other people. That's a great thing to do. Food truck crawl. Okay, this is awesome. This is one of my favorites that they've listed so far. Lainey and I recently had the opportunity to go to the Twisted Grill food truck that came to our local Walmart and parked in the parking lot. And Lainey and I actually have this tradition where we will go out, and obviously I'll do the driving because she has RP, and she doesn't have her license. But on days where it's her turn, she will pick a restaurant. She'll either put it in the GPS or just tell me where to go, and then she'll go get us food from that restaurant, and I have no idea what I'm getting. And she'll bring the food back out in the bags, and then we'll go to a park and eat together, and then maybe go on a walk after. And that has just been one of the funnest dates we could ever go on. There's an element of surprise to it and mystery to it because I don't know what she's planned for the event. There's some exercise in it. We get to walk together and enjoy a beautiful view. We get to eat together and share a meal and eat together. We get to have the experience of, being in a situation where we can talk a lot. All those things are great about this date. So anyway, we recently had the opportunity to try a food truck that was parked at our local Walmart, and my goodness, was that the best meal I have ever had. We got their Route 66 fries, they also have Route 66 nachos. It's queso and barbecue and fries and a bunch of other stuff. And man, it was a meal to remember. It was kind of pricey. I think it was $20 for one meal, but we just split it and then got a couple drinks for ourselves. And man, it was so good. I would highly recommend going the food truck route. It's an awesome experience. It's very, different and novel compared to the other dining options that you're going to have in your area, either fast food or sit down restaurant. Food trucks are it. I mean, they are an experience to have with your partner. Highly recommend this one. If you see a food truck when you're out with your woman, just stop. Just stop immediately and get something with her, because you're going to remember it forever. It's a novel experience. It's not something that you do every day. It's unique. It's special. It's something that is memorialized automatically just by you doing it. You're going to remember immediately that day. You're going to be able to think back on it for years and years and years to come. And so food trucks are the way to go. If you see one, even if you're kind of busy, just stop and get one and have a spontaneous date with your woman. You're going to love it. Outdoor movie nights. Super fan of this one as well. I'm a huge proponent of this. Outdoor movies are one of my favorite things to do, not only with dates, but with groups. But for the dating context, this does require a bit of prep. And again, the weakness is you are susceptible to getting rained out. But again, if you could get to the place where you can spontaneously set up an outdoor movie really, really quickly, with not a lot of, planning, then you're in a great position to have an awesome outdoor movie date. The sound is huge. I found that the sound is usually the weakness of outdoor movie dates. So try to make sure that your sound system can handle and project enough sound for the movie to actually be heard by you and your partner. But again, where you only have two, you can just probably sit close to the speaker and hear it just fine. You can lay a blanket down or a reclining a swing that you can set out front and swing on the porch while you watch it. Project it using a projector and a laptop onto the side of a house or onto the side of a sheet or something like that. Those are great ways to do outdoor movies. We'll do an episode on outdoor movies in the future. time, sure, but this is a wonderful idea to, again, just create a memorable experience. Your wife is going to remember this experience forever when you do this, and it's a really, really romantic date. Dance. I'm not a big dancer myself, so and my wife isn't either. She did take ballet when she was really young, but she's since not gone that route. She's moved on from it, and so that might not be one that we would just be super comfortable doing, just personally. So again, all these are it's a lot of this is individual, guys. Like some of these dates that I may not be a fan of, you may be super into. So like if you want to go to a local dance, take some dance lessons together, take some ballet lessons together, take some jazz lessons together, whatever you want to take with your partner, that might be something for you. So definitely consider that if you're interested in it. Biking, I'm going to kind of skip over that one because we've already covered it. Visit an amusement park. This one is awesome. Again, great if you're able to do spontaneous dates with your significant other. This is a great thing to do just to create, again, a memorable experience. If you don't live in a super urban area, then you might have a local, cheaper alternative to those big high-end urban amusement parks. And so, for example, in the area I live, that would be Camden Park. It's super old. It's been there forever. It's everyone goes there. And so that would be where I would go if I were to go on an amusement park date. I have gone on amusement park dates before. Well, I actually don't even know if I have. I usually don't go to amusement parks just because, again, where I'm more rural, they're located way, way, way away from me. And so if I plan for them, then usually we get rained out. And if I don't plan for them, it's hard to do them spontaneously because, again, they're so far away. But again, that might be one that you like. Miniature golf. We actually did this last week. Me and Lainey did with some other friends. We went on a triple. We went out with two other couples. It was really, really fun. Miniature golf. I actually am not a huge fan of, but I've done this in the past. It has the potential to be fun. It's again, I don't like getting rushed by people behind you who have paid for the experience you're paying for and basically have to wait until you're finished with the number 10 hole, in order for them to have their turn. I don't like that because you're rushed constantly and you don't have the opportunity to enjoy your date as much. So I will say, if you do miniature golf, try to pick a time that's not busy, so nobody's behind you kind of rushing you to finish the hole that you're on, and basically cutting your date short. That's what I would suggest. But a lot of people like miniature golf. It's kind of pricey, so that's why I usually don't do it. Pricey for what they offer. However, it can be a good date if you couple it with something like maybe a hike and miniature golf, or a miniature golf and ice cream date, or miniature golf and a movie or something like that. So go stargazing is the next one that they give. Man, this is another one of my favorites. For me, the bike riding, the tandem bike riding, the food truck, the outdoor movie night, and the stargazing take the cake. Those are absolutely the best dates, the best kind of dates that I've ever been on with Lainey. And so those are the ones I would recommend to you. Stargazing is the perfect time, summer is the perfect time for stargazing. A lot of the times the skies will be clear. This is, again, weather dependent, like a lot of these dates are. That's something I'm noticing over and over again. You're going to want to be able to just, at the drop of a hat and the turn of a dime, say, hey, do you want to go on a stargazing date this evening? Because the weather is nice. And so you've got to be able to spontaneously and quickly whip up this date. And some tips I would give you to do that just really quickly are just carry a blanket in your car so that you can do it wherever and whenever you are out with your significant other, and there is an opportunity. You can just throw down a blanket and stargaze. Maybe carry a couple pillows too, because again, if you lay it on a hard ground, it might not be the most comfortable. And again, you're trying to make these dates comfortable for your partner. So that's what I'll say about stargazing. We will definitely do a stargazing episode, how to, in the future. Because again, that's just one of my favorites. You cannot go wrong with stargazing. It's a great experience. It's memorable. There's ample conversation opportunity, and it's beautiful. I mean, you just can't beat stargazing as far as the environment. Even stargazing even beats hiking as far as what you're able to see with your partner. Watch the sunset. That's another great romantic, classic sort of old-fashioned date. I would love that one. The only troublesome one about this one is it's so short that you only have a limited time to see it. And so you've got to kind of be in a good spot at a specific time, or, the date's kind of over. You've missed your opportunity until the next day. And so this is a really good one, though. Highly recommend it. Again, ample conversation opportunity. You can couple it with other things. Maybe eat an ice cream, or especially if you're in the summer, you could eat an ice cream. If it's a little bit cooler, you could make this a fall date by bundling up and having a hot chocolate or whatever. Still really, really cool date. Ice cream is the next one they give. Again, this is a great one to couple with other dates. And so the sandwich date idea just keeps coming up over and over and over. Like, you can couple ice cream with pretty much any date that we've mentioned in this list so far. So we have hiking, baseball game, zoo, road trip, bike, maybe not, yeah, bike ride, luxury picnic, dine outdoors, berry picking, picnic, beach day, cooking classes, volunteer together, food truck crawl, outdoor movie night, dance, bike. Okay, you can't couple ice cream with dance unless you get ice cream after. But other than that, you kind of see my point. Every single date we've talked about can have ice cream incorporated into the date. Something I will say that you could do to make it super memorable and novel is if you want to make ice cream together using an old-fashioned ice cream maker. Something that my mentor does usually once a year or so is he will, with the group, make ice cream together using the hand crank wooden old ice cream machine. And so that will be something you remember forever. Now, it is really hard to do, and so it might create some, struggle for you and your partner to just do by yourselves, because a lot of times you'll have to rotate in and out because your arms are getting sore and that stuff, because you have to crank for a long time. I mean, I'm talking, and it's hard. I'm talking like maybe 45 minutes of cranking, maybe even longer than that. And so maybe depending on the ice cream machine you use, you could get an electric one that would do the job for you, and it might still be a lot more novel. But again, that's a really good idea that you could do for an ice cream date if you wanted to just do solo ice cream dates. Peruse a farmer's market. This one is interesting. This one is one that I actually have not done before. So again, there are most of these on this list I've done. This one is one I have not done, but it sounds like a really cool idea. It's not just like walking in a grocery store together, because you do have that, again, that novel element of it's not something normal that a lot of people have access to, especially if you live in a rural area here. This is something that you can do. Like a lot of these, like especially the amusement park ones or the cooking class ones or the dancing class ones, some of these things you don't have available to you if you live in a rural area, but a farmer's market, most places are going to have those, even if you live in a rural area. And so I would recommend that. Wine tastings. This one is really, really cool. This is, again, really super novel. And I think of this as a formal date. So dress up maybe a little on the higher end for this one. Go out, make an evening of it, drive with the windows down, do all the classic date things on this date. And I think you could make a really, really special memory with your partner. Probably not a lot of, conversation opportunity here, just because you're, again, in a formal setting where there are, pretty strict rules of etiquette of how you behave in public. And so you're probably going to be confined and limited as far as what opportunities you have for conversing about whatever topic, but still a great way to make a memory with your partner. So definitely would recommend that one. That's another one I have not done yet, simply because around, my rural area, some of these you don't have access to. Wine tastings don't pop up all that often. At least I haven't been able to find them just in the circles I run in on Facebook and the internet and stuff. So that's one that I have not done yet, but I would love to look forward to doing and tell you about how it goes later. But I'm going to review an article for you really quick here. Those were all the ones we just went through were Google's suggestions for summer date ideas, which, guys, that did not take that much time for me to find these. I mean, I was researching this episode for probably 20, 30 minutes, and I found this little Google list in the first 5 minutes. And so, you can find these ideas really, really, really easy. And so I'm trying to save you time, though, by giving them to you in a 30-minute episode. And just look how good Google did. I mean, that was an awesome list of stuff. And so I'm going to read an article for you here called let's see here, where's the title? 40 or a whole summer's worth of creative day ideas. The first one it suggests is attend an outdoor comedy show. This is, again, going to be a more urban, catered to more people who live in urban areas. Comedy shows don't come around that often in rural areas. And so you could replace this, though, with an outdoor movie or something of that sort. Maybe even an outdoor drama, like a theater production or something. You could maybe find those in a rural area, but still really, really, really cool idea. Their next one here is going to be backyard camping. This one's really, really, really cool. If you do this with a group of friends, this could be a really, really fun one. It says you don't have to leave the house to plan a great summer day. If you have the space, consider pitching a tent and spending the night camping, quote unquote, in your backyard with your bow for a change of scenery. You can even hang some fairy lights on the outside for an extra level of ambiance. Obviously, the sleeping together thing is not exactly catered towards Christians, but I mean, you can modify these dates to match your worldview. And so, as this show is catered for young believers who are pursuing the goal of marriage and family, you're not going to think as a follower of Jesus that sleeping with your partner is a good idea outside of the confines of marriage for a number of reasons. Even if only just to list one of them, because Scripture says, several times that that's not a good idea. And so, but you can modify this and have a group camping trip where you went with some friends, and the girls had a tent, the guys had a tent, or something like that. Or you went with a group, your families all went camping together, and the families just each had a tent and stuff like that. But and again, and just to be totally frank with you guys, I mean, there's nothing wrong with strictly sleeping with your significant other, and I'm talking about not having sex, just sleeping in the same bed. There's nothing more about that. It's just, it might not be a good idea if you're putting yourself in a position where you're unable to. Again, it's like, how close to the fire do you want to get? Wisdom would say don't get close to the fire at all. And so, but I did want to just add that caveat in there because, and again, I do want to throw in here, guys, people react. This is just a total side note from our little dating discussion, by the way, but people act like slipping up sexually with your significant other is the worst sin that you can ever do in your life. And frankly, I think that's bull crap. I mean, just to be totally honest and raw with you guys here, like I personally, this is just personally speaking for myself, I would get hurt more from holding hands with somebody who does not know how to stick around than I would get hurt by having a sexual relationship with somebody who does know how to stick around. And so I think people blow it out of proportion. It's like, a sexual mistake is not, I would say, in many senses, worse than other sins that you can commit. There are serious consequences. For example, if you were to have a child or get an STD or get a soul tie or an emotional heartstring with somebody who then bails. But again, I'm saying you're probably going to be more harmed by even other sins. So there's no reason to demonize this one like we do. I mean, all sin is wrong. That's clear throughout all of Scripture, but I'm saying we definitely don't need to demonize people who make mistakes in one area, especially when you're making mistakes in another area. I mean, the classic example I think of is Jesus Christ saying, look to the plank in your own eye before you attempt to remove the speck from your brother's eye. It's just like, it's not your job. So don't condemn other people who are failing in a specific area, especially if, you're failing in even greater areas in your own life. And so, for some reason, we've made sexual sin a really, 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 it's like one of the 7 deadly sins, basically, of mainstream Christianity is premarital sex. But my point is, there are actually sins that land you in bigger trouble. And so, and especially because God can redeem anything, and just, there's this teaching going around that you're less than valuable if you make a sexual mistake. You're less valuable. You're damaged goods. You're whatever, and that is just the most harmful and flawed, teaching, I think, in the Christian church. Number one, because people who have made mistakes prior to coming to their relationship with Jesus Christ, are going to feel like damaged goods, which is just the worst thing you can feel like going into a marriage. And so, I think there's a whole lot of problems with the idea that people are so reactionary when it comes to sexual mistakes. We just need to, again, show grace and understanding to not only yourself, but the people around you, and make sure you're not, again, pulling the speck out of your brother's eye when you have a plank in your own. I think that's totally scriptural. But the next, that'll wrap up my side tangent there. But the next date idea that they have here for the summer is take a pottery class. This, I think, is a really good one. Again, you might not have access to the class in your rural area, but I promise you have access to a pottery place where you can do pottery and ceramics and paint a pottery object that then goes into the kiln and comes out looking really bright and perfect. You can do those. There are places in your rural area that will offer that, I would say. If you live in, a super rural area, maybe not, but I'd say most of you are going to have access to a pottery place. Go for a swim. Another great idea, man. Just go for a swim in the lake or something. Like, we have a local lake here called Lake Vesuvius where I'm from. A lot of you listening may know actually what that is. A lot of my listeners are from the United States, yes, but they're from my geographical area, like Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio. That's where a lot of my listeners come from. And so a lot of you probably know where Grayson Lake, Vesuvius Lake, Greenbow Lake are, Lake Catherine, maybe, or stuff like that. So go to these lakes and take a swim with your partner. Go for a hike, take a swim, take a picnic. You can again couple that with the picnic date to have a really good picnic date idea. Their next one is sketch at the park. This one is really, really interesting. I think this might be for the more niche creatives that are dating each other, because again, a sketching session might not be, exactly within the skill set of every couple listening to the show. But if art is your thing and if you like doing that and if you like practicing that, even if you're not very good at it, that might be a good idea. A stroll through the botanical gardens. My goodness, I can't say that word. Again, this is going to be limited to people who actually have a garden facility or a greenhouse in their urban area. I would say we do actually used to have a greenhouse here. I think we still do. Lainey and I actually have not made a day to that. It would be really cool though. Take me out to the ball game. That was already mentioned earlier, so that's a good one. Go stargazing. We talked about that one. This one is an amazing one. Just to read you the paragraph here, it says, Hoffman recommends stargazing with your other half. Escape the city lights and head to a rooftop or open field for the night for stargazing, says the dating coach. Try to downloading an astronomy app on your phone, like the Sky View, and search for your favorite constellations. That might be a fun little addition that you could do for a few minutes. Just see if you can find some constellations together, either with the app or without. Visit a farmer's market. That was suggested earlier, so I won't spend much time on it. Do it yourself ice cream bar. This is interesting. Satisfy your sweet tooth with a DIY ice cream bar catered specifically to you and your partner's tastes. With so many options to choose from, the hardest choice you'll have to have is whether you want a sundae served in a cup or a cone. Date card dates. I don't even know what this is. It says Bachelor Nation fans. This one is for you. Ilana Dunn, host of the dating podcast Seeing Other People and co-host of Life in Progress, a podcast about your life in your 20s, tells Bustle that she and her fiance like to take a page out of the Bachelor's book and give each other mysterious date cards featuring activities geared toward their interests. It feels really special to know the other is putting thought into curating a date, and it's so fun to learn what the surprise is. They've encouraged us to think outside the box and really treat other people to a special experience. That sounds good to me. I've never done that before. Attend a wine tasting. That was mentioned earlier. Really, really like that one. Go mini golfing. That was mentioned earlier. Plan a scavenger hunt. This one was not. This is a really cool way to do even something big and memorable like propose. Like, guys, consider this. I know people who've done a proposal through a scavenger hunt, which I think is just super novel and exciting, and a way of proposing that your wife is going to remember forever. Personally, the way I proposed to Lainey, if you want to hear about that, we've done a podcast episode on it in the past. Just search my proposal in the Restoring Rapport, podcast platform if you want to hear the ideas that I came up with my proposal to Lainey. But again, that's going to be specific to me and my wife. You're going to have to make this, your proposal to your significant other, a little bit more special and unique to you. I wouldn't just take a page out of my book here, or even some other person's book who did it on the internet and had a lot of really good ideas. It's great to get ideas from them. And inspiration from them, but you've got to make it your own. As with all of these dates, I mean, these are not cookie cutter dates, guys, just like you and your significant other are not a cookie cutter carbon copy of the next couple, but they are great ideas that universally couples find to be great ways to connect with one another. And so that's what I hope you're getting out of this episode. The next one is host your own short film festival. This one is interesting. I would add here, if maybe not a first date, probably definitely not a first date activity, but if you've got to know each other really, really well, and this is, like you're 25 dates in, you've defined the relationship, you've DTR'd the relationship, you're dating for the goal of marriage, you're not leaving each other, you're in it for the long haul, and you're still looking to go on dates, then hosting, a movie night where you show the films that how do I say this? Like, what my family has films that dad captured of us when we were really, really little. You could show family videos. Like, you could trade family videos. So like, you watch the family videos of your wife when she was like 3, 4, and then she watches the family videos of you when you were 3, 4. Man, that will create the most, you're going to laugh so much if you do that day. That is going to be so fun for you to do. So host a family video night, man. Just go over to one another's home and exchange these family videos and watch them. That would be so fun. I cannot think of a more funny date than that. I mean, you're going to be laughing the entire time. And it's going to be super memorable too, because your spouse doesn't know what you were like when you were 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. I mean, odds are, unless you grow up together, they're probably not going to have access to that part of your life. And so that's a beautiful thing to do together, just to, give your spouse access to that part of your life that they never would previously have. Take an archery lesson. You could, again, archery lessons might not be widely available to you depending on where you live, but you could go on an archery trail. The local Lake Vesuvius that I mentioned earlier has an archery trail. So if your spouse is into archery, or even if you just want to do something cool and unique, then an archery trail might be a good way to do that. I usually take throwing knives on archery trails because I prefer those to the arrow shooting bow and arrow. But I also use something just to throw in here if you want an easier option than a throwing knife is a shuriken. Those will stick. You have like 4 times likelihood of sticking it in your target than a throwing knife, just because you have 4 sharp sides instead of one. Again, they are more dangerous because when they're sticking in something, there are 3 sharp edges exposed. But as long as you know how to handle them and you're careful, you can throw shurikens and have much more success than throwing knives. So if you're interested in that, then try that. I would say it's even easier. Throwing shurikens is even easier than axe throwing. A lot of people go axe throwing for their first dates. There's like tickers and timbers. That's a big one where I am, a big axe throwing business where I am. You go and you pay to have a meal and then throw axes. A lot of people go there for dates, but throwing shurikens is a lot easier. You're going to hit 9 times out of 10 your target. As long as you hit the target, the shuriken is going to stick. Hammock time. This is a really, really good one. Again, just because I will add the caveat here that really girls universally don't like bugs. And a lot of times when you're in a hammock, you're obviously under a tree and bugs sometimes fall from the tree onto you. And so that can create a really, your wife will be up screaming in the yard and you're put into, fight mode trying to make sure she's comfortable again. So that might not be the best one for you. Well, that's just something to be aware of. But hammock time, I think, is great. Great time to lay down and relax with your partner. Great time to cuddle. Great time to talk with the person that you care about. Lainey and I, both of our love languages, our first one is physical touch. And so we spend a lot of time cuddling. So this is actually something that we would do a lot on hammock time type dates, is we would do a lot of dates that afforded us opportunity to cuddle. And so if that's you and your partner, this is going to be a great one. Outdoor movie night, we've covered that one. That one's huge. Find a vineyard. Oh man, if you have access to a vineyard, guys, that would be such an awesome thing to tour together. Again, more formal date, so that it's super memorable that you can make with your partner. But man, if you have access to that, I would go for it. Create your own crawl. I don't know what this is exactly. It says, when in doubt, crawl it out. Whether you're looking to try some new restaurants or you want to hit up a few of your favorite spots in one night, Dunn recommends creating your own crawl for a fun date night twist. You can find 3 places in your area that have that item, and at each stop, share one and get a drink and share one and get a drink. Okay, so a restaurant crawl is like if let's say you wanted to have a taco restaurant crawl, you would find all the restaurants in your area that serve tacos, and then you would go to each one and get a taco and compare them, see which one you liked best for your future date. That's a really, really cool idea. I like that. You could do a crawl with just about any kind of date. You could go to various ice skating rinks that you had in your area to see which one you liked better. You could go to various pickleball courts in your area to see which one you like best. You could go to various ice cream parlors to see which one you like best. You could go to various wine selling shops to see which one you like best. That would be a really, really fun date, to just go to different locations and find something to share together as far as a meal or drink goes, and then compare them and see which one you like best. And you can also then recommend it to other couples who are looking to have awesome dates themselves. That's a really, really good one. Me and my wife will probably do that one soon. I'm getting a lot of good ideas here myself. It says, take a cooking class. We've talked about that one already. Attend an outdoor concert. Probably not going to be available in your area if you live in a rural area, but awesome to do if you're not. An alternative to that would be like dinner shows or theater events or ballets or concerts or symphonies. Maybe you might have those available in your area or close within a 45-minute drive or so. Lainey and I, our second date actually was a ballet, and I really, really liked that, and she did as well. The next one is the wardrobe challenge. If you've ever wanted to dress your partner, now's your chance. That's interesting. Okay, so you could dress each other, like pick out each other's outfit. So like, let's say, actually me and my wife did this yesterday. She picked out my outfit that I wore to her family night yesterday. I said, babe, why don't you pick what I wear? I actually didn't return the favor and pick what she wore, but if you wanted to make it a date, you could pick out your partner's outfit. That would be super, super fun, just to see kind of what your partner's style is and see what they would prefer you to wear. This is a super interesting way to get to know somebody. Girls like to dress their man a certain way, and guys like to dress their woman a certain way too. So like if you can figure out what your partner's fashion sense for you is. So I learned yesterday what Lainey likes me to wear, which I'd already gotten kind of some idea of, but I learned better yesterday through the opportunity that we took to have her pick out my outfit, what Lainey likes me to wear to formal events or outings that we go on together. So definitely a really cool one here. I would definitely recommend that. Head to the zoo. That's the next one they give. We've already talked about that one. That's good. Watch the sunset. Already talked about that one. Go boating. The last episode we did, episode 241, is how to do the perfect kayaking date. If you're looking to go on a kayaking date, that's going to have a lot of good information for you. Go check that episode out. We go in detail into not only the correct hiking or kayaking forms, etiquette, safety rules, what to bring on the trip, how to make the woman you're with super comfortable. Go listen to that episode for sure. If you're interested in going on a hiking date this summer. The music challenge. The music is a huge part of our lives, which is why Simon recommends sharing your top 10 stream song of the year with another and discussing what makes each track special to you. This is cool. Just make a collaborative playlist on Spotify is another thing you can do for this that might be really cool, or whatever music streaming service you use. You can make a collaborative playlist. Most of them have this option available for you, especially if you subscribe to the service they offer. So you can make a collaborative playlist where both of you can add tracks to a playlist that you like. Lainey and I have one called Our Songs, and it's all the songs that we like, that we both like, which is a short list because Lainey and I actually have very different music taste, and that's one of the only things that we're different on is music taste. But that's a really interesting one you could do. Pick your own fruit. Like go to an orchard or something. That was really, really cool. Cozy up on a rooftop bar. Obviously, they're not going to even have rooftop bars in my area because, again, I'm rural. So a rooftop bar is a pretty specific, novel, niche, unique kind of bar that is not available in my area. So you're not going to be able to do that. And I usually don't go to bars anyway just because I don't like the environment. And, it's just not the kind of thing I like to do. For a number of reasons. Attend a food festival. This is going to be, again, more rural. Go day tripping. This is like the road trip thing we talked about. Super fun idea. A bookish afternoon. This one's really cool. So Lainey and I's first date, we actually got coffee, attempted to go to the bookstore, and then went to the park. And so we actually weren't able to get to the bookstore because they were closed. But there's a really cool bookstore in our area that I like to go to for conversation dates with. And so try that. Try going to a bookstore to browse. You learn a lot about the person you're with. There's a lot of conversation generating ideas there. And so go to a bookstore if you want to go on a date with your significant other and have a good time. Guys, I'm going to kind of wrap up here. We've gone through a ton of summer date ideas. All of these are great things that you can do in the summer. And again, as it is May now, when you're hearing this episode, you're going to be looking to take your significant other on the best dates that you can possibly take her on in the summer. And so I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Hope it's generated a lot of value for you. Hope it's got your creative juices flowing. Again, even if something I said in this video didn't quite resonate with you enough for you to pull it straight out of my book, you can just use the information that I'm giving you here to come up with your own creative date ideas. That's usually what I do when I'm looking for date ideas, is I'll look online for things that other people have done, and then I'll modify those things that they've done into something new for me and my wife that matches our individual and unique relationship best. Could not recommend that more, and I hope this episode has generated that value for you and given you those ideas and generated those creative forces for you. So if it has, reach out and let me know what you've decided on, what kind of date that you've decided on to go on this summer. In the link in the show notes, you can send me that personalized audio voice message. I prefer to hear from you that way than through Instagram. So send me that personalized audio voice message telling me what your favorite date that I listed was. Give me another awesome date idea that I did not list, or tell me how the date went that you went on. And I would love to hear all of those things. It would make me feel super connected to you as an audience member, and it would make the podcasting system two-way instead of one-way. So consider doing that if you're interested. Tune in next time. Subscribe to the show if you want additional bonus content. Follow us on social media, Instagram and Facebook, if you're interested in the content we post. Thank you guys so much for listening today, and we will talk to you all next time.